Hi besties, Lexi here. How the hell are ya? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a brow tutorial for thin brows. Believe it or not, my brows actually looked like this before we even got started, but I have been using a new product to grow them out, which I will be talking about very briefly before we dive into the tutorial. But before we even get into all that, you guys, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications if you like videos like this. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up if you don't mind. Okay, let's get into the video. Okay, Dusty, so before we dive in, I am going to talk about our sponsor a little bit. It's related to eyebrows, so don't skip this. I promise this is going to be something that you are going to want to use. This little guy right here, it is BL Lashes Brow Serum. You can use it for your lashes as well, but as you can imagine, it is going to help your brows grow thicker, your lashes grow thicker and longer. For the longest time, I have tried different brow serums, and I don't know if it was just that I couldn't stick with them or what it was, but they just never worked out for me. And I have been using this guy for, I want to say almost a month now, so I've been putting him to the test for you guys, and I have seen good results. Don't worry, I took pictures for you guys because I want you guys to see what the real deal is. So here's what my brows looked like originally before I started using the serum. You can see they're very thin, there's not much there, and this is the after. So this is what my brows look like now after a month of using this. I put it on every single day when I'm doing my skincare, just because I am really trying to grow out my brows, especially with the bushy brow trends and all the gorgeous brows that are going around right now. So it has been so nice seeing my brows grow. About halfway through the month, I realized that I could use it on my lashes too. You guys know I used to wear lash extensions. Having something to just like boost the growth a little bit more to get them back to where they were before that has been so helpful. So I'm gonna leave their information in the description box down below so you guys can check them out. It is a fairly inexpensive product and there's a lot in here. Like I said, I've been using it for a month and it looks like it's still pretty full. They are actually on Amazon, so you can get the product really quickly, which is lovely. But like I said, everything will be down below this video. Definitely go use it, because if you clicked on this video and you have thin brows, you probably want them to be a little bit thicker naturally and not just have to, you know, do all this extra stuff with the makeup. So shout out to BL Lashes for sponsoring this video and giving me thicker brows. And now let's get into the tutorial. Okay, the iced coffee is in my hand. I'm ready. Let's get started. So I already have my BL Lash Brow Serum on, just to show you guys that it is fine to wear under makeup. I put it on every single day. I do like to start my brows before I do my foundation or any other makeup, and then I will finish them as my makeup's done. So really quick, first thing we're gonna do is gel our brows, kind of like faux laminate them, if you will. I know you guys have seen this trick, but this is my favorite way to like set my brows. It is the Got2b Ultra Glued Gel, not to be confused with the regular Got2b gel in the yellow bottle. Now they do have a smaller version of this. It's literally like a tiny travel size. That would be perfect if you just use it for your brows. I also use this to like lay down my wigs and stuff, so that's why I have a big one. I will link the smaller version down below for sure. But I just take the smallest amount, I kind of just like push it out and then just tap my spoolie onto it, get any excess off of the sides, which is why my bottle looks absolutely disgusting. But then I go straight into my brows and I just brush upward. We are going for like, I would say it's kind of like a mixture between a bushy brow, a ombre brow, and a bold brow, if you will. Just making sure that every single brow hair is getting coated in that gel, grabbing a little bit more if you need to. And then once that is done, I take my finger and I just kind of like rub it in, if that makes sense. So just kind of like pushing into my skin and pulling it upward, and it gives you like that laminated look where they're just like stuck onto your face, you know, like they're not going anywhere. So that brow is pretty much good to go, and now we're gonna do the other one just so you can see the difference. Here's what we're looking at. This is what we started with, and here's where we are now. Much better if you ask me. It literally gives you an instant facelift when you do this. And y'all, the amount of like extra little brow hairs I have just from using that BL Lash stuff, like see all these little guys down here? My brows never used to go down that far. So once they have dried down, which takes barely any time at all, you're gonna start going in with your product. So I'm gonna start off with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the color dark brown, and I actually have the Anastasia brush to go with it. I don't remember what the name is. It totally rubbed off. I always make sure the brow brush is thin, so I will literally squeeze the brush like this just to make sure that it's gonna give me the thinnest line as possible. See how nice and thin that is? We're just gonna go in on the bottom section and then we'll start moving up. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in. So just taking my brush here, And I do kind of like to start in the arch area and work my way back and then go forward. And that's just because I do like to have less product up here, just because it looks a bit more natural if it kind of fades and gets bolder at the end. Just going straight in and kind of creating the shape. We are gonna clean the bottom portion up with a concealer brush, so don't worry if you mess up a little bit. And then I like to raise my eyebrows. I've been doing this for forever, but I raise my eyebrows when I do this portion because I do like to extend the brow a bit beyond where my natural brow starts, so right around here. And I notice that if I don't raise my brow while I do this, sometimes I'll apply it too low, and then when I raise my brow, it looks like deformed. So this is a huge hack that I just kind of taught myself. And then just very carefully start working that product in little bits at a time. And then you can see how I just extended that little bit right there. So as our brows are resting, it looks straight. When we raise our brows, it looks like it flows. Now we can kind of just clean up this little line. So I'm gonna just work on the arch real quick, just make sure it is, you know, as clean as we can get it before we do the concealer. And then once that is done, I like to take my brush again and just kind of do the pinch motion that I taught you guys earlier. I will grab a tiny bit more of the pomade. Once you have a little bit of that product on here, you're gonna start where that line is that we just created, and you're gonna start making brow strokes. We're just gonna kind of start from this line here and just flick very lightly in certain areas. I'm kind of just gonna go like in chunks, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean, but I'm not going like right into the next one. Kind of giving it some space, and I'm just following the natural hairs that I have. So just following the direction of them. Maybe add a little one up here. And then towards the back, you obviously want to make these a little bit shorter. Then once that is done, I don't add any more product to this brush. I just take it horizontally and I push up against this line that we created on the bottom, and I kind of just like flick up. So essentially I'm using the excess product that we have down here and I'm like buffing it out upward, but I'm not going all the way up, and you'll see I'm kind of just like flicking. Once again, if you want to like hold your eyebrow up, it does help to like keep the skin taut if you don't have Botox like me. Just being really light, especially towards the front. Remember, I am doing like a bit of an ombre. I do like it to fade, so I'm being really light up there. And then I might be like a bit more heavy-handed back here, but I'm literally just kind of buffing out the lines from below and buffing it into those little lines that we just made. And then I do like my brow to extend out a little bit further, so I'm just gonna kind of take the excess product on here and just do a little bit more. It might get taken away again when we add our concealer and our foundation and everything, but I like it to be a bit longer just so I can customize it after the fact. Okay, so I feel like we are buffed out. You can already tell a huge difference between this eyebrow and this eyebrow. Remember, we are going to clean up this bottom portion, and we're still gonna do one more thing before we even do that. So let's move on. All right, so this next part probably seems a little bit funky. If you have a proper brush for this, then you won't need to do it exactly how I'm doing it, but I do have this like brow blade by Urban Decay, and I've been using the ink stain side. The thing is, the ink stain side ran out, and I don't have a brush that is like this skinny and perfect for what we're about to do, so I'm just using this as the brush essentially. So like I said, if you have a brush that looks like that, perfect, go ahead and grab it. I'm gonna zoom you guys back in and explain what we're gonna do next. So I'm taking this little guy here, and I'm just going to grab some of the product from the dip brow. Once that's good to go, we are going to add some more brow strokes in here. This is what's going to give us more of that bushy brow effect, so you can go as heavy or as light as you would like to with this. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna let you guys watch. I'm literally just going to start from the bottom and then just flick up, and you can already see how it's adding just a little bit more density. And I'm gonna do this a few times until I feel like it is where I want it. All right, so the brow is pretty much where I want it right now. It might look absolutely crazy and super bushy, guys. Don't worry, it's going to make sense in a little. Trust the process, okay? Wow, I really look like a woolly mammoth right now. To clean out my brow, I'm using this Stay Naked Correcting Concealer. I'm in the color 50WY, and it is by Urban Decay. And just grabbing this little brush here, you can use whatever one you feel comfortable with when it comes to cleaning up your brows. I like this guy because it's nice and precise, and I do typically prefer like a rounded edge on it just because it helps me get into my arch quite a bit more. So before I just go straight in and start cleaning it up, I do this thing where I kind of lift up my brow once again just to hold the skin tight, and I go below the brow. By putting it there first, I can kind of just like grab the product and apply it as needed. So I'm going just straight up against that line that we made first. And then I like to check the shape and see if I want to clean it up any further. So right now we're just kind of tracing it, if that makes sense. And then just using a little bit more of that product and going into the arch. I'll back you guys out so you can see kind of what we're working with. I do want to clean this up a bit more though, so I'm just gonna go back in. I haven't added any extra product, and I'm gonna just raise the brow line. I think it was just a bit too low. Just going up a bit higher with the product. I do like to stop in the middle, as you guys are seeing, just to like check and see where I'm at. And now the bottom of our brow is so much cleaner. I do take this brush again, and then I just kind of like go vertically in this front section area, very lightly, just to kind of add that ombre effect a bit more. But that is essentially what we're gonna do for now. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and then I will show you guys how they look together, do the rest of my makeup, show you how I finish them off, and then we will be done. By the way, if you guys want to give this video a thumbs up while you're here, or hit that subscribe button, that would be amazing. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back and both of the brows are done. I know it looks crazy without the rest of the makeup on. Trust the process, okay? But I am going to slap on my foundation and kind of show you guys how I blend the foundation into my brows so it isn't obvious that there's no makeup up top here since we didn't conceal the top section. And then I'll finish my makeup and then I'll show you guys the final result. Okay, so you can see the foundation is on like the lower portion of my face, but we haven't blended out the top yet. So obviously you can see right here, like some of the product just kind of escaped to the side. You can see that line from my concealer, and it just doesn't look that nice. So just taking the excess foundation on this brush, which is what I use for my face to blend it out, just kind of grabbing the brush at the top so I have a little bit more control, and just very lightly, obviously blending the foundation into my hairline, but then just kind of going in here and blending the concealer in with the foundation, kind of taking that tail off where it looks a little bit like muddy. And then obviously as I add my concealer and stuff, the rest of this will blend together. But I just wanted to show you how I did the sides real quick and blended out the concealer. Now for the forehead. I don't really use that much foundation for my forehead as is, as you can see. And there is like some excess on this brush as well. I'm gonna try to not get my hand in the way, but I'm blending this out into my hairline first. So just taking the majority of the product and putting it around this area, and I'm doing my brow section last. So once I get closer to the brows, I like to grab my brush once again, just kind of like at the top like this, and very carefully start blending down. Same thing over here. Haven't touched the brows quite yet. Just moving that product down safely. And then I like to just go in between the two brows and kind of brush up like this. If you are missing like a lot of product after you do this, you can always just grab your brow brush, a little bit more pomade, and fix it up. But I found this helps a lot with like the ombre effect too. And then once I've done the middle section, I like to go in kind of in the same manner and just like get the top portion. So very lightly, just like little swipes at the very top portion of my brow. Nothing too invasive. We don't want to lose all the work we just did, right? So I am going into the brow a bit, just like where those top little hairs are right here. And you can grab your brush again like I am, just to make sure that it is going in the right places. And now you can't tell that we didn't do our foundation first, right? So I'm gonna zoom you guys out so you can see it a little bit better. Here's where we're at as of now, all right? So I'm going to do my concealer, finish the rest of my face, and then we are going to do one more sweep of the gel just to make sure that they stay upright. That's gonna finish off this look, and then we will be done. So I'll be right back when my makeup's finished. All right, we're back. The makeup is done, and now we're just going to finish off these brows. By the way, they're looking amazing, but I am just going to get the tips of them laminated once more. We're just gonna add the same gel, so super easy. Once again, just grabbing a tiny little bit. Definitely make sure there's not too much on here just because we have makeup on now. Just starting at the top. And we're going very light. We don't want to like brush off any of the product, right? So just very lightly putting them back in place, since when we do the foundation, you know, the tops can kind of get pushed down, as you can see over here. All right, besties, that is the end of the video. I hope you learned something. I hope I was able to give you guys some helpful tips. And if you have any questions, you can, as always, just leave them in the comment section down below. And all the information on the products I use, BL Lash, all the links and all that stuff will be in the description box right below this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. For those of you who watched till the end, it definitely helps out my channel a lot. And while you're here, go ahead and click that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, and please give this a big ass thumbs up if you found it helpful or if you like videos like these. All right, loves, I am off. I love you so, so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.